Okay, this was slightly unexpected. I was in the middle of recording a separate video and this box arrived. But it's related to the video, so I thought it might be quite fun to open and at least just post anyway. I've already taken the name and everything off for obvious reasons. I've also opened half the box, not the rest. There we go. So I came across a load of broken Spider-Man figures. You can already see some of them coming through on eBay. And I thought it might be a fun little side project to see if I can fix some of them. I thought it might make for some interesting videos. Some of these may be beyond repair. For example, this one is all sorts of the wrong way. Most of these also interesting, that's spring-loaded. Won't be very useful for stop motion, but the ones that are, I thought it'd be quite nice just to try. Some of these are really interesting as well. I don't know. I'm guessing. Yeah, he had a kick mechanism at some point. So, some very interesting figures, which is basically the reason I got this. But yeah, some of them I don't think I can repair or I can't do too much with. But some of them, like this one, which is the Marvel Select PS4 Spider-Man, his joints seem fine. Well, the joint he has are fine, that one's a little bit stiff. He's obviously missing a few bits. But like, all of this seems pretty good. Not much torso movement going on. In fact, I'm going to zoom the camera out a tiny bit. There we go. I'll bring the box more into shot. So yeah, things like this are probably salvageable. There's another one in here as well, which just so happens to have the other arm. I think this joint here is super glued. It is. Okay, there's super glue in the bottom of that joint there. I'm guessing it's been snapped and a parent has tried to fix it. I was curious about how these broke. I did end up messaging the seller to ask how they were broken. He said he got them from a sale, or a local woman sold them to him, and he thinks that she had a child who was quite rough with toys. Which, if this was done by a child, she was definitely rough with toys as a hair there. So yeah, already potential to take an arm off of one and fix the other up. I'll probably take it from this one, because this one's paint looks worse and it's got the super glued torso. But yeah, not bad figures. They could be salvaged. Possibly, I don't know how much work they take. He's also included either all of or most of the like accessories that come with the PS4 Spider-Man. So I don't actually know what this effect is for, or where it pegs into, or if it's meant to peg anywhere. I have absolutely no clue. I'll need to do some research, on this figure itself. I'm guessing something like that. Obviously not on Spider-Man, but on other characters. I'm sure I'll find a use for these effects. There's another one. Then there's these funny little ones, which is also missing a leg. I'm interested to see what era this is. 2010. No brand name on it. I would guess Hasbro. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. In fact, I'll check the first one we took out as well, which would be Toy Biz. I kind of expected it to be Toy Biz. I've watched a fair few videos like reviewing old Spider-Man figures, and that head is very reminiscent of the ones that are on those. That is an arm from the Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie. The figure itself isn't in here, I don't think. And then... Okay. This guy is absolutely destroyed. He's been through... Oh, okay. So I'm guessing the mechanism would still work if I could fix it. He kind of does a thing. I don't know what he's meant to be doing. But his arms move. They slowly just rotate all the way around, but yeah, he's covered in paint. This one's actually a Hasbro figure. So this would have been after Hasbro took over Toy Biz. This one either has a bad sculpt or has bite marks in it. Don't know if you can see. Well, you can definitely see them on camera. Yeah, so it looks like a dog has got hold of this. Either that or that child has sharp teeth. There's the arm for one of the select figures. I don't know if there's another arm for a select figure in here. I don't think there is. Oh, look, here's another painted up tiny Spider-Man. Also not sure which one this is. I probably could have done with having my glasses on for this. Hasbro 2013, it says on the bottom of the foot. He's not even got his spider logo anymore. It's been completely worn off the front. Now this one, oh, this is sad to see. There's no, like, not even any evidence that there was ever stiff joints in this. Okay, this one's going to need a lot of fixing. Weirdly, the leg joints are completely fine. And in fact, so are the feet. Okay. So is this shoulder joint by the looks of it? Well, okay, the butterfly joint isn't. The arm joint is. The shoulder joint's fine. How interesting. So the torso's been through absolute hell. Head joint seems fine. This isn't the correct head. In fact, let me pop that off. This is one of the Amazing Spider-Man heads, which relates very well to the video I've just done. And I know this isn't the right head. I'm going to bring my chair in. Because, as little as I can tell from this body, this is the superior Spider-Man, I think. And I'm fairly sure I saw the head in here. Yes. This is almost like beyond recognition. But if I can fix up some of the joints, it will do well for a custom, for something. I'm fairly sure his other arm's in here as well. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Again, okay, this joint's a little bit looser, but I'm fairly sure I can fix that. Interesting. Again, this isn't beyond repair. I'm fairly sure I could probably split that open a little bit and put that shoulder back in. His other webbing hands in here. Oh, look how old those joints are. Look at the connection point. Compared to what you get now for Spider-Man, or just Marvel Legends in general. But yeah, this guy, fairly sure I could repair that. The joints will need a lot of work, but it's doable. The paintwork, I'm not so sure about, but the actual figure, getting it into like potential figure-worthy movement, is there's a decent chance I can fix that to some degree. This one I'm going to leave for a second because that's the leg of the weird kicking Spider-Man, the first one I pulled out. I'm going to leave the best three for last. But this is another one of the Amazing Spider-Man movie figures. I know this because I was into the first Amazing Spider-Man when I was a kid. Had the toys from the Tobey Maguire original series. Was too young to understand it, so I kind of grew up with the Amazing Spider-Man. But But yeah, this is one of like the weird concept kind of designs they used to do for toys. This has got to be Hasbro at this point. Yeah, Hasbro 2014. Yeah. Interesting design. He's missing just the lower half of his arm. I'm sure if I wanted to like complete this figure, I could probably 3D print a lower arm for him. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. You can see all of like the hands and bits for the PS4 Spider-Man. All of these here. But this is something I was interested in. This is destroyed. Okay. Right, that changes things slightly. I was trying to figure out whether I could take some of the parts from this and fix up my current Spider-Man. I do have one of these. I might keep the hands if I can tighten them up, because those are real loose. But this is one of those rare superposable Spider-Man that has all of like the individual finger joints on it. So I'd quite like to fix these joints, so they've at least got like a little bit more control, and then I'll probably pop this off. And in fact, I have it here. Here is my one. I did repaint his webbing and everything, but I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking I could take the forearms from this one, the lower forearms, swap them out with these, and have, well, obviously he's missing the other forearm, but I'm fairly sure that's also in here. Yes. There it is. And that's got all the posable fingers as well. Which for stop motion would make this figure a hell of a lot better. This one's already got great posability on it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to sneeze. Oh, bless me. Yeah, this would be a hell of a lot better for stop motions. You can already see that this would get nicer poses. The fingers on this one are stiffer. These are holding up a bit better. But yeah, this is my one that's been fixed. I would like to see what parts I can take from this dismembered little body. It would be nice if the rest of this torso worked, but it doesn't. There's not really any movement, it kind of springs back. But it'd always be good for spares. I don't have the other leg or the head from this. But you can see here just how good these figures were. Oh, it's not got any ankle rocker. Interesting. Yeah, these figures were incredible when they came out. This one's not stood up to the test of time very well. But like that range of movement, considering how old they are, I think some of these are a lot better than even the current Marvel Legends stuff. You've actually got butterfly joints on this. They don't go back as far. Oh, never mind. Yeah, they do. They go back pretty far. And they come forwards a nice bit. And they've also got this weird, like, swing up to it. That's not the shoulder joint. That's the butterfly joint having a forward and back and an up and down hinge on top of that. And then you move into the actual shoulder joint. Which, yeah, you get a hell of a lot of range on these figures. It's a shame that when Hasbro took Toy Biz over, they kind of reduced what they were capable of. But no, it would be nice to be able to fix this figure up. I'm not sure how doable that is. I can't actually figure out how this arm snapped off. Oh, okay. So this arm has snapped off just by, there's a little crack in the plastic here. Which means there's a good chance I could even just like slot that back over and click it into place. I might see if I can do that off camera quickly. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, it won't straighten out all the way because it's putting too much pressure on that joint. You can see it's already splitting again. But yeah, that should be an easy repair to add that arm back on. Not that I really need to because I don't have the other leg or the head. In fact, the head's completely snapped off in there. So there's not a whole use I can get out of this figure itself. But the hands are quite good. Maybe the body would be useful. I don't know if the bodies are interchangeable on this. No, they're not. They're completely different body sizes. I thought I might be able to take the torso from this and put it on the waist of this one. but it doesn't look like I would be able to. Which is a shame, but at the same time, I don't think this gets a whole lot more range. It gets a lot more range back than it does than the other one does. Yeah, I'll decide at some point what I want to do with this. But it's a shame to see this figure in just complete destruction, basically. Yeah, so there's that one. The last two in here are Amazing Spider-Man figures. You can see this one here has no arms and no head. I did take a head off of the Superior Spider-Man earlier though. So the joints on this one and the paintwork doesn't actually seem too bad. The paint on the spider logo doesn't seem great. But for the most part, considering this is missing bits, the paintwork on it isn't that bad. We've got the other one here, who does have an arm, has worse paint job and much worse joints. This one's almost just destroyed. He's actually got a split running down the side of his arm, I think. Yeah, the plastic just above his wrist where my nail is split. But that joint's a little bit wobbly as well. There's the potential to fix him up. Same for this here. He's entirely missing that, and you can see the plastic where it's snapped in there. So I'd have to drill that out, and I don't even have the part that fits in there. This is also snapped out. But this is the other arm. It's also mouldy and covered in gunk, which is lovely. Yeah, so potentially, I think I've shown a video on my channel before of how to fix this kind of problem. I could easily give this one another arm, take the arm off of that one, do the same thing to this side, and have another Amazing Spider-Man figure, and then just have spare fodder bits from this. This looks like it'd just be a case of heating up the joint and putting the leg back on, but again, I wouldn't have the arms or the shoulder joint for this one. So this one's more so spares than anything else. Which I also have spare heads now, because I designed this one, which hopefully you would have seen in the last video. I personally think it's a massive improvement on the original head that comes with it. This one is absolutely demolished. Well, I won't use that for reference. The other one's slightly less damaged. You can see, like, proportioning wise and sculpt wise, I did 3D model this one and then print it and paint it. I think it's a much better fit, and it takes it from not looking like the Amazing Spider-Man to looking like the Amazing Spider-Man, in my personal opinion, of course. So yeah, that's all of the bits in there. There's also more of the PS4 Spider-Man stuff. There's little Spider-Bot. More hands. I'm curious to see if these fit on any of the Marvel Legends. Okay, so I've got the Renew Your Vows 2-pack. It's my little custom Spider Sense on there. Just a download from Thingiverse, it's not even my file. The actual sizing and everything fits quite well. They're a loose fit, so you could just like pop it back out again. It does click in, but then it has like this kind of wiggle room in there. But it's in proportion. This is the original hand. In fact, let me see the wall crawling hand that comes with the PS4 suit. Because I'm willing to bet they're about the same. Yep. They are about the same size. Different sculpt to them and different paint, obviously, but you could absolutely get away with using these hands, which, for those of you that don't know, there is a new Marvel Legends, I think it's the PS5 suit Spider-Man coming out. Yeah, look at that. That still scales quite well with the Marvel Legends. It doesn't look out of place apart from the white on the back of the hand. Even the colour of the red and the black matches. Obviously the black matches because it's black, but yeah. So if I do end up getting the PS5 Spider-Man, I now have an array of hands that will work with him, I suppose, with a tiny bit of modification, but Yeah, that's what he looks like normally. The hands are maybe 1% bigger, but otherwise they fit really well. Oh, there's one more thing that I've missed in the bottom here. Oh, it's definitely a Marvel Legends Carnage head. With a whole lot of dust in there. This is also pretty done for. I can't get the joint out by hand. That would need either a pair of pliers or some heat or both. But yeah, this guy's he's definitely seen better days. There's a lot of nice bits in here though. I think the Amazing Spider-Man figures have all their hands. Oh no, they don't. There's missing a fist. There's the 4 web hands. The one on the currently attached, demolished body as well. Then there's the fisted one. The one fist. And yeah, no more other hands for those Amazing Spider-Man, which isn't too big of a deal. I obviously have one already. And considering after all that, only missing the fist, I think that's a fairly good going. It's seen some abysmal days apparently. In fact, oh no, never mind. Okay, I was just playing around with this leg off camera and I thought this bit might be super glued on. The calf was back facing the wrong way, which I didn't realise. So yeah, there's almost 2 complete Spider-Man in here. There is a complete Amazing Spider-Man, if I can fix it. There's extra heads, extra hands for stuff. There's obviously this guy, which I'll be taking the hands from, fixing them up and putting them on my other one. I should think that'll probably be the first custom job I do. In fact, this actually looks like it's wiggling off anyway. So yeah, this will be the first thing I do. We'll be fixing up my Toy Biz Toby for these hands. These I'm still interested to see what the point in, because it's got like these fangs on it. I'm fairly sure this is just to be put over a character. Hold Toby in place for now. And we'll hold Andrew in place as well. Yeah, this is... I'll probably use this one for the parts for the other one. Because that joint is super glued and the paint isn't quite as nice on this one. The paint isn't great on either of them, to be honest with you, but this one's not as bad. I may end up fixing this figure up and then giving it to a friend, actually. Here's the funny little one. That's quite nice. There's the leg. In fact, how did the pin shear in half on that one? Ah, okay. The pin in that leg broke off. But yeah, that could be fixed. Well, I don't know how I'd fix that. So that can't be fixed. This guy I don't have the leg for. But otherwise, he's actually a fairly decent figure. He's got double jointed knees, some form of joint at the foot, just a hinge back and forth, just rotations at the wrists, single joint arms. But for such a small figure, he's got fairly decent range. Better than some of the full-size Marvel Legends I've seen, which is sad to admit. Here we go. I might not even need to take anything from that other PS4 suit because I think that's that arm. So once I fix this arm back on, this figure's pretty much complete and fine. This guy, I have no clue what I'm going to do with. He's kind of past repairing. This one could be repaired. I don't see a whole lot of point in repairing it though. And this one could be repaired, but it'd take an absolute godload of work. Yeah, it's doable. It's mainly just this joint and this joint, I think. Oh, and the butterfly joint. So the butterfly joint, the ab crunch, and the waist swivel needs fixing, and obviously this needs to be put back in. But the good news is that bit hasn't snapped off, so it would be just a case of popping that back in. And then we've got a Superior Spider-Man that's missing all of his paint. So maybe one day when I'm feeling like I really hate myself, I'll go and try and repaint him entirely once he's fixed. Well, yeah, that's all of it. That's this entire box. This is probably a much longer video than I meant for it to be. But now you know my potential plans for future videos. Yeah, there you go. This is the kind of stuff you come across on eBay. And some of it, I think I got this whole lot for £15. Which, to be fair, as a student, I don't really have £15 spare. But I was weighing it up, and that Tobey Maguire figure that's in there, if it was complete, would be 80 quid. That's what it'd be worth. And then the two Amazing Spider-Man figures in there would each be worth 40. Not too sure about the Superior Spider-Man. Not too sure about the PS4 Spider-Man. But yeah, some of them could be fixed up, potentially sold on. I'll probably keep these. I just like Spider-Man figures, and if I can repair them, I will. If not, I'm sure they'll find some other place to go. But yeah, that's this done. If you haven't seen it, do check out the other video of me essentially fixing the original Amazing Spider-Man figure. The video is currently in like several videos on my phone that I need to piece together and narrate over. Yeah, hopefully that makes an interesting video. I'd like to do a stop motion at some point with it, or with the three of them. I'll also have one for the modification of the integrated suit, which I won't be painting this one, but this, I do have this one still in the box, which allows me to show what it looked like before I modified it. But yeah, that's that done. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I can fix some of these poor figures.